Hello beautiful people, welcome to the channel. The Witchy Goth here, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to have a look at the pyramid of SA, SV, DV and how that translates into the world that we live in today. We see the patriarchy and we see the misogyny around us as women, some men as well, but I'm actually specifically, and I just want to reiterate this, that I speak from a woman's perspective. Yes, I know that this happens to men as well, but I am here speaking to women and hopefully to educate men who can help us to eradicate this kind of behavior. So the pyramid, which I'm going to put here, and I'm going to put links into the description box below. This pyramid is from the University of Alberta's SA Centre. Now it starts at the bottom with attitudes and beliefs, those being racism, colonialism, sexism, homophobia and ableism. So these are the attitudes and belief of the people that tend to move on this scale of SV. So we start off at the bottom, the normalization of this violence. Victim blaming, that is when a Grape victim is blamed for her own grape, perhaps because of the clothes she was wearing. And in fact, I've got a video coming up about that in the future as well. So many videos, so much has been going on. Bragging. So this could be a man bragging about the amount of women he has bedded or what he would like to do with a specific person. Body shaming. That's quite a simple one, isn't it? But I will say this, that a grapist does not care what shape your body is. They don't care about the age either. A grapist is a grapist. That's it. End of. They don't care. Slut shaming. She slept with so many men. And it goes on with this body count thing. So what? So what? She's an autonomous human being and can do that if she wants to. Strict gender roles. This comes down to women must be the nurturer, must stay at home and have children, and men do all the hard jobs and go out to work and must get home and sit on their backside and do nothing. Objectification. This I have seen so many times, and I was first objectified when I was 8 years old. As a little girl at school, a boy was looking up my skirt. And I've been objectified many times since, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of the women who are watching this have been too. Where perhaps you were catcalled or, as a child, and I saw this earlier on as well today, perhaps as a baby, your uncle said, oh, she's going to need a chastity belt when she's older to keep the hands off of all these men. What does that tell you about that person? Boys will be boys. No. Do not excuse them for their behavior. Do not excuse them for their behavior. Boys need to change. Locker room banter. We've all seen it. We've all heard it. It's in a lot of American movies and other movies as well. It's just not acceptable. If you hear these kind of things, guys, call it out. Tell this person, what are you saying? You can't say that. Would you want to say it, somebody to say it about your wife or your daughter or your grandmother? And grape jokes. I've heard those as well. I'm pretty sure some of you have. Please don't put them in the comment section below. We don't need to know them. So removal of autonomy, non-consensual exposure. So this is a flasher, which I've been subjected to twice in my life. And to be honest, women don't really want to look at a guy's thing because it's not attractive. It really isn't. The guy does it to shock, to create some sort of response in the woman. Much the same as the the video I did the other day where the man was chasing a girl because he felt it gave him some sort of power and it frightened the girl. It's the same thing. Revenge porn. This is where men have got an ex-partner and they've recorded footage of them together, which would have been consensual, hopefully at the time, but may not have been, and then they put it onto the internet. That's not acceptable. Catcalling, as I've already mentioned, it's the normalization of violence. It's making that seemingly innocuous thing that men think is giving a woman a compliment, it normalizes it, but it's not normal. It's not normal behavior, especially when it happens to schoolgirls. It happened to me, and I've seen it happen to a lot of schoolgirls. Non-consensual photo sharing, exactly the same as revenge porn, that the photograph that's being shared is not consensual. And this also goes for men who photograph women without their consent or knowledge in a public place. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen, and I know it does. It's purely for them to go later on and, use the sock that they've got under the bed. Leering at a woman, definitely. Yeah, wink, wink. No, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Again, moving upwards in the pyramid, groping. I've been groped. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments who have been groped. Not obviously wanting to feel happy about you having been groped, but just to know how many of you have experienced that, because it's terrifying. And it doesn't just happen in nightclubs. It doesn't just happen when you're drunk or at a party. Both experiences I had with groping happened in the shops that I was working in at the time. Sexual coercion. This is one that I find interesting. The man wants to have intercourse. And I was like, I'm not really into it tonight. And the man keeps on coercing the woman, saying, oh, you really do. It'll be okay. You'll enjoy it in the end. That is coercion. If she says no, she means no. Accept it. She said no. Violations. Any violation against a woman. Safe word violations. For example, if there are, sub and dom within a relationship, nothing wrong with it. If the two people are consensual, nothing wrong with it. But if that safe word is violated and the person continues, then it's not acceptable. I watched a good movie about that last night. It was on Prime. The name of it slips my mind at the moment. It's a German film, subtitled and dubbed. Very, very good. And it's about non-consensual dominance over a woman. Non-consensual touch. So that could be somebody sort of, touching you inappropriately on your arm, or accidentally touching you on your breast. Or the one that I specifically dislike is where a man puts his hand in the middle of your back to guide you and lead you. No, don't touch me. I don't want you to touch me. And that was not a Nazi salute. That was a get away from me gesture. Dosing. So we're talking about any Rohypnol or, date grape drugs that have been put into a woman's drink. That is the removal of the woman's autonomy. She is not giving her consent to what you're doing. Stalking. Speaks for itself, really, doesn't it? Because it puts fear into that woman, so she can't go outside, so she can't look at her social media, so she's too afraid to go out to a party or a nightclub or even for a meal at a restaurant, because who knows where that stalker is. Then we move up to SA, full-on SA. Covert condom removal. And this happens where men will stick a pin through a condom packet. So ladies, always make sure that you use one of your own condoms and make sure you put it on. Exploitation. And we come to the sort of trafficking side of things here, where women are trafficked into other countries purely for the SV of men. And this goes for all genders, not just for women. We know it happens to children as well, and it's disgusting and deplorable. SA being assault against women. So, you know, some sort of sexual assault where perhaps her bra is ripped off or her skirt is ripped off. Then we move on to physical expressions of violence. Femicide, that is the unaliving of women. Sorry, that's my alarm. That is the unaliving of women. Homicide, another word for it. Another word for it is murder. Gang grape and war grape. And then finally at the top we have genocide. And genocide against women has happened in the past. It has happened back in the 16th century when at least 90,000 women were hanged or burned at the stake. So this is how SA and SV works. It starts off with these base levels and then it works up towards the top. Because as a man begins to feel more comfortable with the bottom level, they will move up to the next level and the next level and so on. Don't fool yourself that this doesn't happen, because it does. The statistics are out there. 1 in 4 women who are in this country, in the Western world, this is just the Western world, have experienced some form of SA or SV from a man. So somebody you know has experienced it. And I can pretty much guarantee you now that every woman or girl you know has experienced some form of the lower level of the violence in this pyramid. So if you have any comments that you would like to place in the description box below, please try and keep them polite and non-abusive. And as I said at the beginning, I know that this happens to men as well, but I talk about women on this channel and what women experience. Hope to see you next time. Blessed be.